Yes, sir.
So you have switched your partner. Mohammad Abdullah is not, I think, has left the course.
Yes, sir. He's not in the course. So I have to team up with Heather Ali.
Heather has missed the presentation earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He has this the presentation.
Okay, and then after that, we are having the people who were left. We had Arham, Tareen, and Adil Akhtar. Are you ready?
Sir, we presented yesterday to Parvez Talib, sir.
Okay. And Aditya Sharma and Rajdare Hind,
Yes, sir, we are ready.
you are ready. And Rishabh Bhardwaj.
Yes, sir.
So you will be presenting alone or you have a partner?
Sir, alone.
So let us start the first presentation. Ahmad and Heather, you can start.
Okay.
Please keep your cameras on.
Good morning, everyone. Today the topic. Today we are here to present the presentation on the topic of business communication. I am here with Heather Ali. He's my partner here, and we are going to present on the topic of. Move to the next slide. Move to the next slide, Heather. Heather.
Yeah, is slide visible?
No, move to the next slide.
I am already on the third slide. Wait.
Yes. So we are talking about power here. First of all, we'll talk about the power is situational. Like we have said that there are three aspects of power. Power is situational, power is re- relational, and power is dynamic. The first of all, we will talk about power is situational. Leaders often view power as a purely personal quality. Like for example, when we say about the power, then we often have the presumption that a person is powerful only on itself, but it's not the case. It's only the situation that depends on the situational factors that how powerful a person is. One of the primary ways leaders limit their powers is by failing to search and cultivate sources of influence. When a person fails to cultivate and to research more, then he loses his powers. Identifying your roadblocks and turning them to your advantage necessary. Like for example, when what are the roadblocks in your path is, and you have to identify them and remove them so that you can progress more and you can increase your power. Move to the next slide. Heather,
Yes.
move to the next slide. Now we have to ask some questions to ourselves that why we want to exercise situational power. What are the aspects related to it? For example, we have to ask the question that what do I seek to accomplish? Like what do we will gain by accomplishing this? What is the goal important to just me to the company or not? Like for example, what we are going to achieve, is it important for just us or to the company also? Why hasn't it been done before? What roadblocks we may encounter? Like what are the problems we are going to encounter? What sources of personal power do I have? Like what are the sources do we have to encounter these? How do I leverage those sources of power to mobilize others? Like how are these sources of power going to help others and to encourage others? Are there other ways to get the job done? So these are the questions we have to ask ourselves while exercising situational power. Move to the next slide. Now the other aspect is power is relational. Now we know that power is not absolute. We have to find out different areas in which we can see that power is relational. Like for example, scope out the landscape. How major the landscape plays. How what is the role of the landscape, the power. Insights from key parties and invite them to create solutions. Like we have to create a solution and we have to take the help from others also. We have to take the opinions of other people also. Attend to reciprocity and dependency. Like for example, we have to depend on other people also on our work. We are not just absolute. We cannot do everything alone. Leverage relationship among others. We have to maintain the healthy relationship among the other people also, which are going to help us in making us more powerful. Like because we are dependent on them also. Make smart trade-off. Like we have to their relationship of give and take. Like we have to give them also when they are needed. and we have to take the help also. Move to the next slide. Now we are now we have to ask some questions to ourselves also about exercising relational power. Like for example, who is necessary to help bring my idea to life? Like what people are going to help me in bringing those ideas to life? What do those people care about? What does a larger network of stakeholders like we have to make the stakeholder also happy. Like because of them we are able to execute our idea. If they are not going to help us, then we will not be able to do what we want. Who might be unexpected allies. Like there are some certain allies also who are going to help us in our work. We have to take care of them also. What are possible points of resistance? Like what are the problems that are going to occur in our path? We have to take care of them also and remove those problems. What is dependent on me? Like what are the things who are dependent on me, and we have to take care of that also. What would benefit from co-creating solutions with me? Like how can the co-creation of solutions are going to benefit the other people when they will associate with me? How and when might I strategically bring people together or keep them apart? These are the some questions that we have to ask ourselves by exercising relational power. Now I may ask my partner Heather to continue from here.
Thank you, Etamad. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Thank you, Etamad. So moving forward in our presentation, till now we learn about the dimension of power. Etamad beautifully explained power is situational and relational. Now we will learn about power as dynamic. Many leaders have have a static view of power. Once they establish their influence, they assume it always there for them to using. However, research suggests that to maintain power, leader must continually adapt to change in organizational and social system. Influence strategies that may work today may fail tomorrow. Let move on to next slide. Exercising dynamic power. As the time passes, the social, economical, technological system around the organization or people change. So as to exercise power, you must continually reassess and modify your influence strategies. Next slide. Putting your power to work. So psychologist Heap Kalman identified three kinds of social influence. First is compliance, identification, and internalization. Power aimed at compliance affect pupil behavior in a given situation at a given time and depend on formal instruments such as policies, practices, and guidelines. And power aimed at identification is more durable and rests not on rules but on behalf in the leader who can trust by communicating vision, goals, and etc. Thirdly, power aimed at internalization stems from stories about the organization. It may change time to time according to a language, norms, culture, and belief. So finally, let me conclude this presentation. So I would like to conclude the presentation by summarizing that power is elusive and coveted, enabling and despised. It speaks to the best and worst of the human nature, evoking strong visceral feelings in those who hold it and in those under its sway. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll come back to this presentation after a while. Let us have the second presentation first.
Sure.
Aditya and Rajdaren.
Wait, sir.
This one. Good morning, everyone. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Raz Darehin, and I'm here with my friend Aditya Sharma. We are going to present on the topic How will you measure your life? For this, we are taking 3 questions. How can I be sure that I'll be happy in my career? How can I be sure that my relationship with my family become enduring source of happiness? And third, how can I be sure that I'll stay out of jail? Now we are taking all these 3 questions one by one. First, how can I be sure that I'll be happy in my career? See, money can't buy you the happiness, but it can act as a motivator. It can help you to help others. It can help you to grow in responsibilities to learn many things, but it can't buy happiness. Nowadays, more and more MBA students come to school thinking that career in a business means buying, selling, and investing in companies, but that's unfortunate. If you want to be happy, you need more and more friends. Go and invest time with them. Now, second questions. If you want to be happy with your family, you need to invest with your family. Now, most of the couples, I would not say every couples, but most of the couples are career driven. They invest less time with their families. That's the saddest part of their relationship. If ones need to be happy, they need to invest time more and more. People allocating fewer and fewer resources to the things would have been once said matter the most. If you want to be happy with your family, you need to do certain things. Create a strategy for your life, having a clear purpose in your mind. One's need to work hard. Self introspections is needed. Without purpose, life can become directionless. Now, I'd like to invite my friend Aditya Sharma.
Thank you, Razdarin. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aditya Sharma, and I will be continuing from here. So, the third question, which Professor Clit stands and put in front of us while explaining, was how can I be sure that I will stay out of jail? Well, we often see when it comes to the profit making and leading our life, we often follow marginal cost doctrine. What it means? Well, we see short-term goals and short-term benefits and measure them more as compared to the long-term reaping benefits, and thus make such changes in our life that will greatly affect our future and might make us land in the jail too, because short-term benefits are sometimes very risky and do not follow the law regulation put upon us by the government as well. Well, the second thing that we can make sure that we will stay out of the jail is stick to our basic principles. Well, a person who is very determined and stick to his basic principle will never do such things that will land him up in the jail, because a man of principles follows those principles and will lead a creative and a strategic life as well. Switch the slide, please. Well, determination. Well, determination plays a very major role in answering the third question as well, because what determination is, well, there are, I can explain it in a way like there are some work which needs to be get done, and you also know the significance of the work, and you do it irrespective of the what thoughts are coming to your mind at that moment. You are willing to do it or not, and you do it irrespective of that. Well, that's the determination. For example, we can relate like those who go to the gym. So there are certain days on which we do not want to go to the gym because we are feeling very tired. But we know that in the long run, it will be very helpful for us, and we go irrespective of what we are feeling, and that is what determination is. And that, by my experience, I will tell you that those days are the very rewarding one, and you feel much better when you come out of the gym, knowing that you achieved your goal, and it also helps you. Raza, switch to your second slide. Well, attitude changes everything. Well, what our attitude is in our life plays a very major role. Well, people often tell us we should learn from our mistakes, but a smarter person is the one who not only learns from his own mistakes, but from the mistakes of the other as well. And we should always learn from our environment and the surroundings, and we should keep learning because life is very short and the time is not enough for us to learn from our own mistakes. Well, Professor Clay Christensen tells us that we should measure our life, but by different metrics, and and he was a very religious person, and he tells us that he tells us that by the metric by which the God will measure our life is not by how much individual accomplishment we have made, but from what we have, what impact have we made on the lives of others, which we are with, those people whom we are with. And being humble is one of the good trait we should develop, because ask anyone, he will tell you that being humble is the most admired trait of all, and it makes you more attractive to others as well. And we should make resolutions, and we should decide that what we want in our life. And once we decide, like for example, we want to improve the lives of others, those who are around us, like for example, teaching the poor kids and something like that, and making people come out of the poverty. So we should make a resolution, and each day we should work on that thing. And before going to bed, we should ask ourselves, have we made any significant impact in the lives of others? Because that is what will matter the most. Let's switch to the second slide after this one. Switch the slides. Razak? Any questions are welcome. Thank you.
Right. So should we have the last presentation also at first?
So can I start now?
Yeah.
So can I start?
Yes, I think let us finish with all the presentations.
Okay. Please start.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir, and my dear friends. Today I am here. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, sir, and all my dear friends. I am Rishabh Bharadwaj, and today I am here to present a presentation on the topic, the Smart Talk Trap. This article is written by Jeffrey Pfeffer and Robert I. Sutton from the Harvard Business Review. It begins with the story of two companies. One is the International Oil and Metal Company, and other one is a large furniture company. Both of these companies were facing low sales and low profits. As a company was struggling, the management knew that the major changes was required at that time. And for that, they conducted various meetings, presentations, but even after a year, no major decision was taken by both the companies, and everything was as it is. At the center of both companies, there is an inertia that plagues company of every type, whether it is local, new startup, or whether it is a service-based firm. The phenomena of knowing too much and doing too little is known as knowing doing gap. Whenever a company suffers from a losses or low profits, the executives of the company should know what is to be done through their past experiences or the information available in the market. They should know what will be the course of action to improve the research and function of the company. Uh, in today's business world, there is no shortage of know-how, but all of too often, even with the all knowledge floating around, nothing happened. There is no doing. Yes, some companies are adept at translating ideas into actions. A handful are even famous for it, such as General Electric, AES Corporation, etc. But they are the exception. Then impacts of knowing doing gap. Most organizations have trouble bridging the knowing doing gap. Brought to a standstill by inertia, their opportunity for growth are lost, and their best employees became frustrated and must have left the company. Many customers and investors also left the company. Like we have the example of Xerox company in the 1980s. Xerox realized that to improve their company and to improve their market, they need to work on the quality of the products. So over the next 4 years, they conducted various meetings. They made articles. They also trained their 70,000 employees. But after a research was conducted, they realized that a little change is seen in the attitude of Xerox manager towards quality. Also, the company was later able to restructure. How many growth years of them have been lost? How many important customers have left the company? Now, what are the main reasons for the knowing doing gap? Knowing doing gap occurs because executives which are in the business thought that they should talk smart rather than actions. People who attend business schools all around the world are treated on the basis of how smartly they can talk. Those who talk smart have articulate information about anything. They have interesting information and ideas, but when the time of action comes, they hardly do anything. So this observation is known as knowing doing gap. Next slide. The smart talk trap. The smart talk trap. This is a syndrome where companies hire, reward, and promote people for surrounding smart rather than making sure that smart things are done. We all know that the key to success of business is actions, hard work, and with most suitable strategy. In most of the companies, people are rewarded for talking. This phenomenon resists the growth of the company. The key idea of this article is converting ideas into actions in organization rather than just talking. To the next slide. Criticism and complexity. Criticism and complexity always widens the gap between the knowing and doing. Like it is also believed that people who think complex languages are and concepts are better than the simpler ones. People also think that being critical on others make them better than others. They do not play with the simple and plain ideas. They also criticized the juniors in the meetings whenever juniors put forward their ideas in the meeting. As a result, the company is filled with artists who only know how to talk smartly, but at a time of action, they hardly know anything. It is seen that complex languages and concepts are seen as better than the simplest ones. People also think that being critical on others makes them better than the simpler ones. In the meeting of the company, it is also seen that juniors are criticized whenever they give any idea. There are very rare instances when a manager uses a simple presentation to give an idea. It often creates confusion. Uh, Coming to the next slide. As we have seen in a case of a software company, the company wanted to give their employees laptops as they wanted to shift their organization to virtual organization. Instead of using simple language, they use complex procedures, which leads to the rumors that the company is shutting down, and it created fear in the mind of their employees. It took them several weeks to clear all the rumors that the company is not going to shut down. So criticism and complexity led to the widening of the knowing doing gap. Coming to the next step, uh, shutting the tap and closing the gap. Uh, there are some companies which have managed to substitute actions for work. They have managed to shut the tap. All those companies, they are there are five characteristics which are common. First one is leaders who know and do the work. There are the leaders who believe in doing the work rather than just talking. These leaders are the ones who have all the knowledge about the company's working, capabilities, difficulties, etc. They used to work on the front line and with their employees for example, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who is one of the most richest person on the earth, used to spend most of his time in the factory. He knows the challenges faced by the workers. So these types of leaders cannot be easily fooled by smart talk. Second point, they have a bias for plain language and simple concepts. Executives of a company which have managed to lessening the gap by knowing knows the real value of the simple and understandable concepts by using plain and simple languages. Executives excuses in the organization can be avoided. For example, Apple has only limited products in each product line. Now, the Apple is the most valuable company in the world. They frame questions by asking how, not just why. Criticism often stops the best mind of the company to come out. Like in the meetings, juniors may have the best idea for the company, but due to the fear of criticized, they do not represent it. So some companies have managed to stop this by asking how we should do it rather than why we should do it. They have strong mechanisms that close the loop. In these companies, the meeting does not end with the decisions, rather than it ends on actions. They make sure that talks did not just end on paper, but actually got implemented. Then we have experience is the best teacher. They make the process of going into an opportunity to learn. Some companies believe that this is the best opportunity to learn for them. The reward of action. By closing the knowing doing gap, the company can benefit its employees, customers, executives, and all the people all around the company will flourish. But whenever an action is substituted by talk, the harmful effects takes place. Thank you. That's all from my side.
We can start with the speakers themselves, have their feedback first.
First two speakers we can ask Ahmad and Heather. Please open your screen, open up your cameras. Ahmad Saeed and Heather Ali.
Yes, sir.
So, Etamad, how confident you were during the presentation?
So I was confident, quite confident.
Quite. And the other pluses which you might have felt?
Yes, sir. I have done.
Huh?
I said yes, sir. I have attended classes.
No. What were your other plus points in your assessment?
Yes, sir.
And what are the con?
What are the?
My two simple points are
Yes, sir, yes,
what are your positives and what are your negatives? as per your assessment
So
of
I
your
think I
own
was
person.
confident enough, and I think I find out that I presented most of the important points of the article which were presented to me, which were allotted to
Okay.
me, and that's the key points was about the how to describe the power, like what are the aspects of power, like how the power is relational, how the power is dynamic. So these were the three parts of the power. So I think we clearly defined all these and how to
Okay.
put the use of that power correctly. Like in the last slide, we explained how to put use that power correctly, because to use that the power is the most important thing. That we are if you are using it correctly or not. So I think we did that quite well.
So are there some areas of improvement, or now no improvement is needed?
No, sir, I think we could have given some more depth to it. I think because it was a 12 slide presentation, so I think not all the topics were covered in detail, but there could have been done more detailing. So I think one of the things was that the topics could have been explained in a more detailed way.
Okay. And what about,
Yes, sir.
let us listen to Heather. What is his assessment of his performance?
Hello. Am I audible,
Yes.
sir?
Yes. What is your assessment of your performance? Both positives and negatives?
Sir, regarding our presentation, I totally agree with my other partner, Etamad. We could have done more than that. We could have added details to the point to the presentations. I think there is a lack of synchronization between us, as Etamad is constantly asking me to change the slide. And regarding my part in the presentation, I think I was not up to the marks in terms of communication skill and presentation skills.
Can you run the slides again? Is
So
it
run the
possible
slides
for you
again.
to run the slides? Yes.
Yes, sir, this is
Cursorily, just
possible.
very quickly.
I have to open it again, sir. Yes, sir.
Please move to the
Is it
next.
visible, sir?
Yes. Please keep moving, keep moving. Now just stop here, slide before that, yes. इससे पहले की. Is it good to have so much of content on the slide?
No, sir. I think the main point of presentation in PowerPoint presentation is to have as much as possible to keep it minimal, so that you get an idea what to talk about.
And I think this again we have been repeating again and again. It's a question of what Rishabh discussed, knowing, doing gap. We all know it, but we are not able to do it.
Yes, sir.
Because that requires higher level of crystallization of ideas, isn't it? Once we
yes, sir.
understand the core idea, then we present that only in the, or we put that only on the PowerPoint. Otherwise, we have a temptation to put everything. Now move on
Yes,
to
sir.
the next.
This is basically a screenshot or a picture of from the article. Basically, you have taken a picture and then pasted this picture on the slide.
Yes, sir. It was about the all the three aspects of the power. It is what according to the question what given in the article. Yes, sir. I have taken it from there.
So is it good to do it like this?
No, sir. It was about that because it was asking about it was showing out the questions regarding the exercising of these powers, these three powers. So I thought that we should take all these.
Just think
These are
about
the
it.
more
Don't, Etemad, you are
Yes,
rationalizing,
sir.
and that leads to no learning. Just reflect that, is it possible to crystallize the content and put it in bullet points? We have already discussed this idea 5 by 5. not more than 5 points, not more than 5 words in a point.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
This is what we call a smart talk trap. Move on to the next slide. This is a good slide. Move on to the next. Next. Again, now the stop here. Conclusion se pehle. If you put just complete sentences, the psychologist Herb Kelman identified 3 kinds of social influence, compliance. Is it good to have full text like this?
No, sir. I have just told about these 3 social influence, and that in
You are
just
not
one
getting the
document
point, Mr. Etemad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can just have the keywords:
Okay, sir.
compliance, identification, and internalization.
Okay, sir.
Rest you are there to explain, to make full sentences. Is our idea to read out from the slides?
No, sir.
Faraz, your inputs, please.
I did not find any contextualization in this presentation and no examples. In fact, in both the presentations, I could not find any relevant examples and contextualization from the presenters. How these articles or how the central idea can be applied to our context, or how can we relate to this. So there was no on that part. Rest of the things I think you already covered. The some many slides were not having too much content actually, and it was in fact it was not readable also. Even if we say that in that sense. So I personally don't like this cut and paste kind of effort. So it to me is not an effort which you are putting in your presentation. So I don't see the right kind of preparation here.
Even the color combination of slides.
Yes.
Okay, let us move on to the next.
Yes, Aditya and Razdarin.
Sure, sir.
What do you pick up of your presentation? Your own assessment?
So initially, I was a little bit nervous, and as the presentation proceed, I feel confident, but not up to the mark.
And what I felt, sir, is that the pros were I avoided reading from the slides, and I tried adding my personal experience and tried to convey what I learned from the article after reading it, and tried to put it as forward. The cons I felt were that the pace was quite fast at which I was reading, and there was loss of synchronism between me and Razdarin while presenting, and there were certain slides which were not synchronized well.
Can we have a look at your slides also?
Yes, sir.
Was the content right? What is your assessment on that account? This I can accept as a good slide. But is it a good slide?
No, sir. It could be more crisper in the information provided. And the introductory part could have been better. Right.
And the most interesting part was that you were insisting, Razdar, to change the slide, the last slide. And there was only one slide left that was any questions. You were stuck here and on this slide, and you were asking Razdar to change the slide. You repeated it 3 times, and the next slide was only any question. This could have been said even without, the changing of slides.
Yes, sir.
And I repeat this point. Now you can switch it off. You can close it. Actually, when we have such PPTs, it indicates 2 things. One, lack of preparation. Because only when we have understood the key points, then only we can present it in a crisp manner on the slides. And if we do a superficial job, we will have a temptation to put everything on the slide. So core of presentation is understanding the idea. Unless we do that, any PowerPoint and all will not be able to do wonders for you.
In fact, when presenters who had missed the presentation and they were insisting on having and giving for another chance of presenting, I was expecting something better. And I was thinking that you might have seen other people presenting. There were a lot of good presentations in the last so many weeks. And there were people who had put in a lot of effort. And there was a lot of feedback which was given on those presentations. So I was hoping that you would have learned the lessons from there and you would present something and you would surprise us. But I'm feeling very disappointed with the effort. In fact, there is this, we say that that if you are given a task and it looks like that there has been a minimal effort to basically do that task. Minimal, that just to get over with. That's, I think, the feeling which I get after seeing the effort here. And there was a lot of, actually, you people have a lot of chance to basically, and a lot of time to prepare and a lot of these, and see the articles when they were given. And there were so many presentations in between, so much to learn from the presenters, so much to learn from the feedback, and you fail to do it. So that to me is very disappointing.
This is what is knowing doing gap, which we talked in this next article. Anyway, Rishabh, what is your assessment of your performance?
Sir, I think I was very nervous. This is my first ever presentation. I think the slides are average. Slides can be more better. The flow of communication was also not good, and there is a lot of uh, improvement needed. And I think the presentation can be presented in a more attractive manner.
And Rishabh, I think you can keep on, you can switch on your video. Why you are closing it? We are talking to you. Yes, Prasa, what is your assessment?
I think the slides were good. However, yes, he has rightly pointed out that there needs to be a lot of practice. I somehow felt that there is some script somewhere in front of him from which he was reading, and someone else was changing the slides and all. It is fine that someone else changes the slides for you. It is also fine. That is, it may happen in live presentation also. But actually, by reading from a script, though it was looking obvious that you are reading from some script, but word by word, and that I think will not give you that confidence which you need and which you are hoping for, that you will improve. So if you keep on doing this from a written script, I don't think that it will make you a good presenter. So what you need is that you develop the confidence to practice on these things. Maybe try to basically form those sentences in your mind. And even if you are, say, not able to express the full idea, at least try to express it. And when you start doing it, then only you will become a better presenter. So written scripts will not help you. And maybe cue cards can help you. Maybe some pointers from the presentation slides can help you to remind you of something. But that can only happen once you put in that effort in the practice.
Okay, sir.
In fact, this tentativeness was evident from your eye gaze also. It was a shifting eye gaze, and you have a tendency to look in the vacuum, look into the vacuum rather than, now, for example, you are looking straight to the screen towards the camera. But during the presentation, quite a number of times you are looking upward, just like that. So that shifting eye gaze, that too, most of the time looking upward, as if towards the cloud or the sky or the roof, that indicates tentativeness in the person. And that confidence can come only when we genuinely know our content. And then we speak in our own language in a natural fashion. Any other input, Dr. Faraz?
I think it's
so. Okay, next week I intend to present a gist of what is required to make a good presentation, and we will try to summarize the key points, the key learnings that we have had in this long sessions. I think we had almost 25 plus sessions on this.
30.
30.
Around,
So that was our core idea also, that each one of you should present, and based on that we build up our ideas. In fact, in lecturing mode, the ideas would have sunk in even less. At least now we were discussing in the context of a presentation. So at least that person is expected to remember the points that we have discussed. So that's all. Okay, thank you.
so We'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday.